Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world, says in his quarterly reports and loves to say in many settings that he tells all of the thousands of Amazon employees who work under him, he wants them all to wake up terrified every morning. And that's the word he uses, terrified, and to stay terrified all day because that makes them productive. But most of these people are just getting by financially. He wants them to be afraid all the time so that he and the stockholders can get more stuff. And they already have so much stuff. 50% of the total wealth of the world is owned by the top 1%. It's insane. I was amazed to find that Jeff Bezos.
Listen, welcome to Let It Be Known News. It is a Friday. It is Happy Friday. It is also, let's see, it is Niel, something that we got to introduce you to from the ONG Swag Sports. It is Happy Swag Hoodie Day. And
Okay.
today our guy he's rocking the Bethune Cookman hoodie today. So Bethune-Cookman is our school of the week, our HBCU of the week. So we just
Okay,
want.
I'm gonna have to chime into this because I'm representing Grambling State University, so I'm gonna have to pull
Here
out
we
my
go.
Grambling hoodie next week or something.
There you go. Now, what you got to say about that, ONG? See,
Hmm.
Nielle comes in and she outdoes you in a heartbeat. It does not surprise me. Does not surprise me. Um, I just want some of that money under the mattress. So I'm hoping that at some point when he's doing his crawfish cookout, he falls, bumps his head, and wakes up and puts me in his will. That's all.
Okay, okay.
That's where we going with that. All of
Uh,
that just to say I want to be in Orangey's will. So
well, good morning, Orangey.
there you go. So Niel, it's been quite a week so far. You rocking 16, 19. I see.
Yeah, I'm thinking on Fridays I'm gonna rock, my unapologetically T-shirts representing, I guess, HBCUs and, Black Girl Magic, 1619, here, whatever. Fridays is going to be unapologetically Black T-shirt day for me.
Absolutely. And I should mention, since I mentioned Orangey Swag Sports tonight, it's Friday, so check him out. YouTube. I used to sometimes, well, not used to, but I sometimes watch college football. And didn't know a lot about college football, to be honest with you, some years ago, and still didn't. And so when I watched this guy, I'm thoroughly educated and entertained about college football. So watch him on YouTube, the RNG Swag Sports Network. So check it out.
Nice.
Um,
Well,
and
since we're talking about
yes,
college sports, it's not
yes,
an HBCU, but shout out to Juju Watkins and
okay.
USC for defeating UCLA yesterday. Them girls was
Look at
on
that.
that court, and USC did that thing yesterday. So shout out to Juju Watkins. She be balling.
Now see, it's just more. Neil is more evidence of why Kendrick Lamar kept it all L.A. and Compton. L.A. folks just love to keep it L.A. So she had this UCLA versus USC is probably the biggest rivalry there is out there.
Huge game yesterday. You had Kevin Hart in the audience, Sanaa Lathan representing Love and
That's my
Basketball.
girl.
Vanessa Bryant was in the house. There we go. It was an awesome game, and Juju reminds me of the female Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? She's just such a class act, and when she hits that court, she's electrifying. Electrifying.
He's electric.
Look at her. Juju.
Oh man. So sports is always good. Always good. Talk about sports. Um unfortunately we got other things, and I mean unfortunately. Well, what's not unfortunate before we get into our topics, we got a special guest this morning, yeah.
Yes, we do, but we're not going to break it until he shows up. I hope
Okay.
he's watching right now.
Okay. Sounds
I
like
didn't
a
ring the
plan.
alarm.
We do know that it's a he. So we and obviously he's a black man.
Hmm. And
Okay.
he's funny. He's funny.
It's fu
Hilarious.
alright, okay. Oh, boy, now to the more depressing stuff, which we know as
Do
news.
we have to? Do we have to?
We can talk about it. Y'all should be playing my Rihanna commercial. We can talk about Rihanna the whole show.
Well, Rihanna was in court yesterday with her man and her
Oh
2
gosh.
babies.
Yes, and she was very emotional yesterday.
Well,
I
closing arguments started yesterday.
yeah, yeah, and I am, ASAP he seems like he's such a cool dude. But I'm so disappointed in him. I mean, how do you put Rihanna through something like this? You can't do this.
Rihanna knew what she was getting when she chose him.
Yeah, but
She liked
uh,
it.
look,
I mean, what are we
she
talking
she
about?
does not deserve to be sitting in that courtroom. Um, she has no support. I might have to go out there.
Oh, okay, okay.
I mean, look at that. Y'all can't be treating her like this. This is outlawed in a lot of states.
What is
But
outlaw?
mistreating Rihanna,
She's not
making her
being
sad.
mistreated. She is supporting her man as she should be
Look,
because
if
he
I was
pays.
the prosecutor on that case, if I got that case and I saw the name ASAP, not because I like ASAP. ASAP is a
Mhm,
cool dude, but
mhm.
I would have said, you know what? We're not putting Rihanna through this. I'm dropping charges.
Well, I mean, he's hoping that he's going to beat it because you know that they offered him a plea deal of 180 days in jail, 3 years probation plea deal. He declined it. So, if convicted, he faces up to 24 years in prison.
You know
And
what's scary?
so, there's a lot on
Yeah,
the table.
and for him to turn down that plea deal, and there's been some powerful testimony. But what's scary to me is Joe Tacopino as his lawyer. I don't trust Joe Tacopino. I don't. Austin said he's on his way. um, I don't trust him. I don't know who are the super lawyers today, who celebrity type lawyers today. But Joe Tacopino is not somebody that I would want to, and ASAP obviously has, but he's just not somebody I'd stake my life on. That's for sure. And that's what ASAP is doing. He turned down the plea deal and he's facing 24 years if he loses. And Joe Tacopina is his lawyer. I just don't trust the man.
Well, I mean, all eyes are on the court now because closing arguments are happening. We don't know how long the jury's going to deliberate. And so, all eyes are on the courts in LA.
Yeah, all eyes. So what do you think? How do you oh yeah, I don't know how closely you followed the trial, but but what you're hearing at least, how do you feel as far as the outcome of this?
I mean, we were having a conversation yesterday, and it's like anytime they offer you a plea deal and you're facing up to 24 years, you know, you might want to take it. However, because he didn't take the deal, they're saying that his case, the case against him is not, it doesn't hold bearing. It's not strong. The district attorney
Mhm.
knows it. And so he took the chance. But I mean, it's 50-50. Anytime a black man is in the courtroom,
Oh gosh, it's more than
I
50-50, right?
mean, the odds are against you.
Yeah.
That's just the way
Yeah.
the system was designed. We talk about systemic racism all this week. So, he's gambling with the Rihanna being there, the stardom, hoping it will sway the jurors. But I don't even think there was one black juror on in his case.
The
So
one
I
thing
mean,
I've
it's scary.
Yeah. The one thing I've always said, and David Youngblood says that she's emotional because a conviction is on the way. But the one thing that I've always said, and has mostly held true, Los Angeles juries do not make a habit of convicting celebrities. That is the hardest place to get a conviction of a celebrity. Los Angeles, they just don't do it.
Mhm.
So he's got that going for him.
Right, 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 right.
And
And
that goes back beyond OJ, really. They
mhm.
just don't they it's something with the celebrities in LA. LA, Hollywood, they seem to really claim these folks. You know how, it's like putting Beyonce on trial and the jury is the Beehive. They
Well,
just don't do it.
right. Well, it didn't work for Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez went to prison.
Well, like I said, for the most part.
He went to prison. Suge Knight went to prison.
Wow. Well, she's gonna cite 2 cases. No, but you're
I'm just
right. Yeah, absolutely.
saying.
Yeah.
But
Greer says he
in,
wasn't American.
in all reality, though, this is another good example of why ASAP Rocky didn't have one black juror
Yeah,
in
not
the
one.
12 and
And
above.
that's a problem.
Yeah, but I think once again, that's our problem because we have to show up for jury duty. You know what I mean? How many times have we said, "Oh, I can't do it. I have to work, or I don't live there anymore." So that's just another example of, civics is not just about voting. Civic participation is about one of the things is doing jury duty. And so,
Yeah.
as a community, if we want to change the systemics that we talk about all the time, part of it is us being participants in the process.
Yeah, but then you see so many, and I've seen it covering. Especially it's so ironic because I covered courts more when I lived in LA than anywhere else. Other places I worked, I didn't. I'd go into a courtroom once in a while, but when I was in LA, I covered courts all the time, and I've watched with a lot, no dog in the fight, only covering it, but really curious to say the least about how they would do it. Jury nullification is real, is where I'm going. So
Hmm.
when black folks do show up, it depends on the case. They
Right.
rarely get selected. And then to your point, um, that's when it becomes more of, well, you know what? I'm avoiding this because I gotta go to work. I'm gonna sit there for hours and not get picked anyway, especially a certain case. If it's a business fraud case, if it's this case or that,
Right.
white murder suspect, anything like that, you go and you waste your day.
Right. Right. Right.
And many of us don't have time for that. We truly don't have time for that. So, um,
I mean, but
hey,
do we want to participate or do we want to complain? I mean, you're not getting called to jury duty every month, not even once a year. So, you know,
all right,
um,
John. Niel has laid the gauntlet down. Y'all get that jury notice accepted.
right. Another case, though, I don't know if you talked about it last week, though, but I do want to bring up since we're talking about courts and high profile cases.
Wait a
Um,
minute. Wait. Before you go there, that was the great segue since you were showing Greer ASAP to put my Rihanna commercial on. I don't understand the thought process here. I really don't. But go ahead.
as I was saying. Former DA Jackie Johnson was cleared of wrongdoing in the Ahmaud Arbery murder investigation. Did you guys
Yeah.
talk about that?
We did,
Uh,
and that's just give me a break.
I,
Go ahead.
I mean, I'm just speechless that you know everything that she did to kind of bury that case. There's no accountability there, just none.
And it was the judge. Let's make no mistake. It wasn't a jury. It was the judge who tossed
Right.
those cases. And as I think it's Orangey or David Youngblood brings out all the time, we talk about that. I think it's Orangey. She, he hates the fact that she had a black lawyer too.
Mm. Strategic, probably, but
Of
I
course,
wonder. I wonder if Donald Trump had not been elected, if this case would have went this way. It
it's a
makes you
great
wonder.
point. Yeah. Greer says Rihanna has to run her a check first. Listen, just consider her paid.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna talk about Rihanna on Monday. So Greer, you might want to get that commercial ready because we're following the ASAP Rocky trial. So get the commercial ready for Monday.
Get the commercial ready
Let's
for Monday.
tease it out.
Well, I tell you what, we will see. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Though he rolled the dice, and it is a lot. I mean, everything's on the line for this man, and we'll see what happens. So Neil, a lot's going on. The day after Sean Duffy was confirmed. And by the way, speaking of confirmations, there is there no pushback, Nia, on these confirmations at all?
It seems like all of the Republicans are spineless and they are not going to go against Donald Trump's wishes.
Oh my
So buckle up.
gosh.
Buckle up. That's
Yeah,
all I can tell you.
RFK got confirmed. Everyone's getting confirmed. Sean Duffy got confirmed as the transportation secretary. And the day after he was confirmed, he signed a memo dictating how federal transportation funds should be allocated. The list of new criteria included one directive that really stood out. All of the department's grant and loan programs should prioritize projects, quote, in communities with marriage and birth rates higher than the national average. Now, it goes along with this, Neil. Um, Legislators in Ohio and Mississippi
Okay.
are pushing forth the bill, and they are crafting it on the federal level now as well. I noticed, but they're pushing forth this legislation that will fine men $10,000, and it will be a felony. Get this, I had to make sure that I saw this, like, you know how you double source stuff? Well, I had to like 100 times source this. But they will find these men and make it a felony if they are having relations with a woman, and they I'm trying to say it in a family friendly way, but if they ejaculate without the intent of conceiving a baby. Yeah, let that sink in.
So what if they have what if they're wearing a condom?
Apparently, and so, and reading the law, that still that is more evidence that they can present that you ejaculated with the intent on not creating a baby.
So how are they going to regulate this?
So that's my question. And shows you how ridiculous this is. But Greer, look at Mike V said, "Come on, son." I love it.
Come on, son.
So, Neil, the fact that they even drafted these, and we're talking Mississippi and Louisiana, and we're talking about now on the federal level, it's Ohio, not Louisiana. They're drafting this. See, they got jokes. Quinn says, "Is it age restricted?" And Miss Perry, Claudette Perry says, in other words, no sex." Um, but you got to understand, we talked about this a little yesterday, Neil. W- The goal here is becoming so obvious. If folks, if you're missing the goal of this dictatorship, it is simple that it has been simple from Roe v. Wade. They are acting out of the fact that we had Obama as president, number one. But more importantly to them, that whole idea of this so-called browning of America. This is why they want to get rid of all immigrants, legal or not. They want to get rid of them, illegal or not. They want to get rid of them. They want to suppress us to the point where we don't have no money, black folks. And that's why I say the billionaire black folks, the millionaire black folks, they better beware too. We're going to talk about Kanye later. But again, he's an example of, even though he's brought his troubles on himself, of they can show you better than they can tell you, because they've taken his money before and now they're going to wipe him clean. And I believe they're going to use the wife too to help wipe him clean. But nonetheless, that's a later story. But Neil, you see what's going on here. They want more white folks. That's why this anti-DEI thing, getting rid of, come on.
It just takes me back to the times of slavery. Like white men, they want to control our bodies. They want to control when we have sex, how we have sex. They want to count our babies. It's just gross. And all I can say, it's a Friday. Black women, we did what we were supposed to do. Black men, y'all did what y'all was supposed to do. And what's happening right now is their fault. It's their fault. It's their fault. And
Yep.
I don't know what we're going to do about it, but right now it's just like you just got to sit back and let it burn. And hopefully they'll wake
Where did
up.
we hear that before?
Hopefully they'll wake up. Okay. Now we're going to talk about it here and tell you about it, but hopefully they will wake up. And I'm talking about white women. I'm talking about the Latinos that voted for Trump, all the people that thought that Trump was
Arabs to
going to
Trump.
do what. This is y'all's problem. Y'all created this. Now y'all gonna see what it felt like for us
hmm
in 1619. Okay.
And that's always the problem, right, Neil? They always believe that, and we talked about this yesterday as well a little bit. They always believe that we're the ones with our hands out. They always believe that we're the ones that are getting public assistance, et cetera, et cetera. They're the ones. And we keep seeing more and more videos, and you always have to know where it's coming from, but we keep seeing more and more videos and more news stories. I'll say this, um, even in mainstream, I've seen a lot on NBC and I've seen a lot on Politico, where you have these former MAGA folks saying, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know. I regret it now." You see so much of that, and it's like, I don't feel sorry for you.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's so
Not.
interesting because when
Mm-mm.
Greer and I was out last year, covering the run up to the election, and so much of, and I've said this before. We've talked to Trump folks, and they could not articulate any policy of his that they were supporting. This is, as we see, it's all about the Trump cult. It's about the worship of this man, and it's also about, for the most part, more than the worship of Trump, it's about the power, and it's about putting black people in their place, in their minds,
Yeah.
and they're getting hurt.
Right. Right. I, it's just it's Friday and it's so much, this week with Donald Trump, it's just too much. It's too much. And we know, that's what I'm saying. Us as black folks, we know. We've been here. We've heard the stories from our ancestors. We know what it is. And it's like somebody needs to tell them and keep going, Stacey. Just keep going.
David Youngblood says, "I can't wait for the crying, screaming, and gnashing of the teeth. They voted their Negro interests, and now they will find out." Uh, Mike B says, "It's about."
FO, FAFO. What do they call it? FAF. What is it? Oh yeah,
Oh.
FAFO.
Look at Neil. Neil, you're not supposed to use that type of language on this show.
I didn't say it. I just, gave the acronym for it. That's it. It's gonna be a
Mike
lot
B,
of that. It's gonna be a
it's
lot
a
of that
whole
for the
lot of
next
that.
4 years.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so interesting. It's been 3 weeks. Now we're going on the fourth week, and it feels like it's been 4 years already.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
just, it's horrible. Mike V says it's about who has the legitimacy petition to petition the federal government. They don't feel black people have the right that the white man is bound to respect. Listen, if we we studied the history books, we know about what Dr. King and that generation was doing and what they fought for. We know about Jim Crow. Now we are experiencing it. We're
Mhm.
about to experience it.
I just never thought in my life that I would, feel some of those feelings that they felt, you
Yeah.
know, during civil
Eh,
rights. I just never thought in a million years
Mm-hmm.
I feel it.
Yep. Yep. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Hmm.
Um, David Youngblood says, remember to not buy anything on February 28th. Remember that. And there's things like that. When we say, okay, what can we do? What for us, because we have no allies, what black people can do. And this February 28th is one of those things we can do.
And
There's
what
no
are we
question
doing
about
on
it.
February 28th?
Remember, it's the we're not buying anything.
Oh, that's National Blackout Day.
The blackout day, yes.
So no gas, no shopping, no Amazon, no nothing. No
Nothing.
grocery stores, no nothing.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Come on,
I'm
we should
with
be
it.
able to go one day without, right?
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yeah. And,
Now,
well, and I think you said it. Like you know, we talk often about, and I know Dr. Chavis talks all the time about the spending power of Black folks, right? Well, that day we can really show them what that would mean to them if we did not patronize them.
right.
So let's that I'm with it. I don't have to spend. I listen, when you say you don't have to spend any money, I'm down.
Me too. Because you can't leave the you can't leave the house and go anywhere without spending $100. You
You
can't.
know,
You can't.
it's amazing. It really is amazing. But you're right. You're right. You know, here's the other thing that's going on. So the top federal prosecutor in Manhattan and other prosecutors now have resigned in New York City rather than obey a Justice Department order to drop corruption charges against New York City Mayor, who is a Republican, by the way, and who served as the interim U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, was confirmed yesterday. The top federal prosecutor um, said that I'm not happy with this order to drop corruption charges against Eric Adams. And by the way, no surprise here, Eric Adams strongly suggested yesterday that he would run as a Republican to for reelection in New York.
You know what? I mean, from his perspective, I don't blame him. You know, Donald, I don't blame him. Go on over there because we don't want you over here. You
We'll
go
trade
on
you.
over there. He saved you. I get it. It's kind of like Snoop performing at the crypto ball. It's kind of like it wasn't a good thing, but you could understand, you know,
I don't
why.
understand Snoop performing at the crypto ball.
I do, for 2 reasons. For 2 reasons, and I'm telling you, I'm not with it, but I do understand. Number 1, they said that he was, helpful in lobbying to get Harry O pardoned from Donald Trump.
Okay. Harry
Okay,
also drugs to black kids, but go ahead.
so I mean, and so did the pharmaceutical company that did fentanyl. And ain't nobody been held accountable for that, but that's a whole nother conversation. Not
Hmm.
defending, but I'm just like there are 2
Hmm.
Americans going on. And then the second thing is Snoop is really into crypto. And
Right.
when he purchased Death Row, he took all of the music off of like Spotify and iTunes, and he put it in cryptocurrency or something like that. So he has relationships and he was at the crypto ball. So I get it. But what he didn't realize is that the things that he said about Donald Trump in the past would come back to bite him in the ass. Right. And
Mhm.
so I'm not defending
He
Snoop.
could have
I
done
hate that
his
he did it.
own crypto ball. He could have headlined it. He could have brought in other folks. He didn't need to do it
Yeah,
under the guise of supporting Donald Trump because I don't care how you slice it. All that show was a support of Donald Trump.
100%. 100%. I'm just saying that I understand the reasoning. I'm not saying that it was right,
Mhm.
but
Right,
I
right.
understand, you know, why. And just like there we go. Oh, Nigel Robinson.
There you go.
So I get
Um,
it. It's not right. It's not right. I'm not saying that it's right. Like a broke clock is right twice a day. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I can understand. It wasn't the right decision, but I get why he did it.
yeah, and somebody want to enlighten me what's going on with Boys to Men. Someone wrote in TPMD says, "Have you seen the latest picture of Boys to Men?" Neo, is something going on with Boys to Men that we need to know?
Well, I know that they were visiting rep or minority speaker Hakeem Jeffries. I think it was yesterday.
Okay. Okay, because
I don't know why they were there, what they were advocating for on the Hill, but Representative Hakeem Jeffries did post a picture of them in his office. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Danielle Pierre says they've come to the end of the road. That was a good one. This is something to keep an eye on, Neil, with all this chaos that's going on. In the 3 weeks, and this is a nod to RNG for sure. In the 3 weeks that Trump has been president, banks in the United States have closed more than 100 branches, and according to experts, they are sounding the alarm that a whole lot more bank closures are coming. Wells Fargo, PNC Bank, U.S. Bank, and others have filed notices saying that they are closing some locations. And varying reports suggest that billionaires are even emptying their stock holdings. The, folks, that is alarming to say the least.
Yeah, I just don't know what that means. What does it mean that they're closing down branches? You got to use your app more, or I mean, I don't know what
Well,
that
they
means.
have filed notices with the FDIC that they will no longer operate in certain locations. They've closed, like I said, over 100 locations in the 3 weeks since President Trump has taken over. So I'm trying to figure out what message are they sending.
And
What
like
is
in
the
what
message?
neighborhoods? What would be interesting to find out is in what
It's the
neighborhoods.
neighborhoods, yeah.
Is it in Black
Well,
communities or Black and Brown communities that these branches are closing? And then right there, it'll let us know, the
what's
impact
going
that it's
on?
going to have on our communities. So
Yeah.
that's an interesting story to follow.
It is, and Greer was saying that she only keeps operational money in her bank now, and we know that RNG has long not used banks. He's like under the mattress. So
Look, we're
this
gonna
is
go back to that Fonnie Willis testimony. Her daddy's testimony about back in the day. We kept it in the
right.
wall in the mattress.
There you go. And see, this is a viewer by the name of Shay Baby is saying exactly what my thought was. That it means that it's going to be another financial crisis. And Claudette Perry says, "Put it under the mattress." My daddy always said so.
Mhm.
And Shanique was texting me saying that she's doing the same. She's putting it under the mattress. So,
Mm.
but it does. We keep seeing what scares me even more, and I mean I don't say scare me because I'm like y'all. I'm not messing with these banks, but what should frighten folks even more is the fact that these Trump friends, these billionaires, they've been pulling their money out of the stock market, which does indeed, along with these bank closings, location closings anyway, it does suggest that a financial crisis is on the way. So, and there it is. The bank's closing branches fastest in 2024. In fact,
Mm.
1,043 banks closed last year. So if you do a hundred and was 107 is the total that they've come up with in 3 weeks. If you do that every 3 weeks, whoo, that's a lot.
Mm. Well, maybe we should consider and lift up our Black banks. What are our Black banks?
Absolutely.
One United. Let's see. And for those out there that are in the chat, do you guys bank Black? Let us know in the chat if you bank Black.
Yeah, that's a good question. I know there's the what's the bank in Baltimore? The black bank gosh, Carver. Is it Carver?
I'm not sure. I know One United.
Hmm.
Let's see.
But Mike V says put it in the books because folks don't read. Put your money in the books because folks.
One United is the largest bank. One United keeps
Yes.
coming up. Brooklyn Federal Credit Union.
Danielle Pierre says they go back to the rotating savings club like Susu's. Harbor Bank. Thank you, Miss Perry. Harbor Bank in Baltimore, Industrial Bank in DC and Maryland. Harbor Bank. Um, and Inferno 932 says that they've been with the credit union for years. I also have a credit union, Inferno. Um, First Independence Bank in Detroit is, according to TPMD, a black-owned bank. It's like when we were talking about reparations yesterday. And I mentioned that the proposal in San Francisco
Mhm.
included making sure the money went to black banks. And when you talk about reparations and things like that, that should be a part of the discussion for sure, along with financial literacy.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate like one of my well, both my daughter's schools, they taught financial or teach financial literacy, and it's so rare to see that in K to 12. So I'm really happy with their schools.
Hmm.
Mike V says all the black banks should merge now because it ain't no telling what's going to happen in 4 years under this administration.
Mhm.
And Mike V, I think you're right. And I think even what Niall was saying, we were talking about Target, and we know that the National Newspaper Publicists Association um, has targeted Target, if you will, as well as we had him on the other day, Dr. Jamal Bryant. It should be a concert. All of this needs to be a concerted effort. Everyone needs to come together on this. Black folks, black institutions, um, all of the groups need to come together.
Right, right. We need, like what I say, we need a meeting in the basement of the church, of the Baptist church. We all need to meet in the basement at the Baptist church
Why it have to
and
be
come
Baptist church? Because
together.
yesterday our guest was Catholic.
Well, it could be Kojic, it could be AME, it could be CME, we need a kumbaya moment, you
We need a
know.
kumbaya.
We need to go watch some civil rights movies and understand that there were differences, but at a point we knew we all had to come together, and that's what we need.
Yeah. Liberty Bank in New Orleans, RNG says it's a black owned bank. And TPMD says we definitely need a meeting.
Right.
Um,
And in this time, I have a question. In this time, are we able to have one black leader? Like, who is our leader? Back then it was like we knew it was a table. The media lifted up Dr. King, but we knew
Mhm.
that it was many people to bring it together, but that he was the person to put up front. So who would be our person to put out front? It was Obama. We were able to unify under Obama, but who is it now?
that's gonna be up to black women to decide. You know why I say
Oh,
that?
okay. I like
Well,
it.
well, well, I say that because you mentioned Dr. King, and Andrew Young told me something I never knew. He told me it was the older black women in the church who
Mhm.
selected King, and I didn't know that. And he said, when they selected him, he had no idea they were gonna select him. In fact, he was, like, not even in anybody's, on anybody's, like, list, to lead or whatever, and it was the older black women who came together and said, "We are picking Martin." And
Really?
even King, according to Andrew Young, King was like, "Me?" He didn't because he was, like, a quiet believe it or not, he was quiet and kept to himself pretty much.
Mhm.
And so obviously, I say black women because they have to pick because obviously they made the right choice, as they
So,
often do.
but to ask the question in chat, we're asking you to let it be known, chat. Who would you pick to be our leader right now? If we had to have somebody bring us together and work with all the other leaders, the NAACP, the SCLC, CORE, who Urban League, Black Lives Matter, who would be that person to unify us? Are we going back to Obama? Are we picking Michelle? Is it Kamala? Is it Dr. Jamal Bryant? Who is it that we can say, okay, we choose you? Is it Wes Moore? Who is it?
Well, Shababy says Jasmine Crockett. You can't argue with Jasmine Crockett, but there are several folks like saying we need several leaders. David Youngblood says, I don't want one leader. I want all of us as leaders. Each of us have a part to play. We know not Tim Scott or Herschel Walker or Byron Donalds or Kanye West.
Good. That's good. We know who we don't want. Let's go backwards. We know who we don't want.
Shaniqua says Michelle Obama.
Okay.
And Aunt Pam just checked in. That's annoying Aunt Pam as the leader. It would not be someone young, says Greer. But why not?
Yeah, why not? Dr. King was young, right? Fairly young.
Yeah, he was young. Exactly. Oh no, somebody somebody says not Al Sharpton, not Jesse Jackson. TPMD says Kamala. I think didn't we try? Didn't they try? But she meant it would not be someone old. Greer corrected herself on that one. But Kamala Harris was did she get a fair shot? I listen, y'all know what I believe in. I am Claude Anderson. Who's Claude Anderson? Empress says Claude Anderson. Okay. Another name in the bunch. Oh, I like this. Everybody's coming up with it. Trixie says, honestly, so here's a problem, Niel. Trixie says, I don't trust anyone because when the price is right, they change up. We need someone who is not scared to speak up and someone who won't take a bribe. See, that's an issue, right?
Right.
The matter of trust. That becomes an issue.
And another question, with this conversation, is the Black church relevant in this fight? We always during civil rights, during slavery, Black church was the cornerstone of everything. Is there anybody in the church movement that is leading the way or mobilizing us for social justice issues?
Rhea says she
Like,
doesn't
who
think
was that
so.
pastor?
She says she doesn't think so. And I'm with this again, this individual with the screen name Shababy. She says Kamala Harris didn't get a fair shot, and she brought hope. Jasmine is an amazing orator. I listen. Like I said, I'm more like Greer on the conspiracy side. I just don't believe that the vice president actually lost that election. I really
I
don't.
don't either. I 100% don't. I don't think she did either.
No.
And I wish a lot more Democrats had the balls to say it. I mean, and say it like Donald Trump said it when he lost in 2020.
And they continue to prove that they don't. And it's sad. It's sad. It's sad. Claudette Perry says, whomever it is, they would have to be willing to fall on the sword. Who would that person be? Yeah, we're not. We unfortunately I don't see that we have. If we do, it that person has not emerged yet. A person like those freedom fighters back in the civil rights movement, they were willing to fall on the sword. I get the impression, and this name has come up a few times in the chat as well, and we talk about her a lot, that it's Jasmine Crockett. If you're looking at one person,
Right.
She just appears to have that unbought, unbossed, and never would be mentality.
Right. She's not
So
afraid. She's not afraid to speak to the power for sure.
yeah, and you're not gonna buy me. That's and Greer says she would make a great president. She is someone who you think would epitomize what a president would be, right? You can't buy me. This president is bought, sold, and time and over again. And not to mention, this president is a 34 times convicted felon.
All right, I'm jumping in because Jay's taking too long. I can't keep typing like this. So I think
you gotta put your face on.
One day, not today. But I think that America.
Your mother's watching. You gotta show your face.
Nah, listen, trust me, she'll call me later and criticize. No worries. That'll happen. That's the way. But I think that if Jasmine were our president, America would fall. I'm talking about the MAGAs, all of them. they would fall in love with her because Black women have that kind of magic, right? The thing that people are so attracted to with Donald Trump is his boldness, right? And she's all of that, right?
That's
There's a
right.
lot of people, there's a lot of Black people, I mean, there's a lot of people like that like to criticize Black women and, accuse them of whatever for being so aggressive. But they always seem to fall in love with us somehow or another.
Well, they didn't fall in love with Kamala.
Well, you know what? Kamala had, Kamala ain't Jasmine. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. Kamala played, she did it well. Don't get me wrong, but she played more of the game than Jasmine. And that's my point. I think that what people are in love with Donald Trump is that he's unconventional. And so here we are now in an era, right, where people are in love with that. And Jasmine, she don't have nothing to lose. She hasn't said it all. You know what I mean?
And she's not backing down.
She's not backing down. And this is apparently what a lot of people like. And she's not, she's being put in this position that she's in because she's a Democrat and she's a woman and she's been under attack. But she's even expressed love and concern for those who are attacking her. So if she were, if America was bold enough to give her a chance, she would be, I believe, she would be more popular because today Obama is the most popular president that we've ever had. She would totally give her 4 years. She would take that spot quickly because she's someone who's willing to put it on the line for everybody.
You mentioned if America would give her a chance, Democrats won't even give her a chance.
Right.
They kept her out of committees.
Right. But all I'm saying is I agree with you. I agree that this was happening because they're playing the political game. But let's just say in an ideal world, right? If she were put in that position, there is no way that they would not eventually fall in love with her because people have,
I agree.
because of how, and that's all I'm saying. Americans, they love this aggressive. I'm not talking about everybody's going to love her, right? Clearly, a lot of white men won't love her because they just stuck in their ways, right? But but I think that, because she has demonstrated to be a politician for the people, right, across the board, you give her that time, and she's smart, right? That's the thing. And when she said the other day, the thing about us getting in these positions, and I'm talking about Black folks now, we don't come unqualified because there's no wiggle room for us. So you got somebody who understands the law, who is, that was part of who's committed, but I think that's one of the problems with that for Obama, for some Black people, is that his willingness too much to play the game. Right. And, I'm not saying that I'm not going to, say he was horrible, but, he missed a couple of spots. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's not to say that he wasn't a great president. I'm not trying to take anything away from that. But, we're talking, dream in a dream world, of course, because we know that America, if they wouldn't hire, right, they wouldn't vote Kamala Harris. They damn sure ain't gonna vote. No, nobody just vote her in. But I'm saying if she ever had a chance, she would probably, about all of the leaders, she'd be the best one. Right. Because she's come in with the heart that nobody has, for Americans, all Americans. You know what I mean? Obviously, she's going to, talk her stuff, do her big one for Black folks because we're, under attack right now. But if she were given the opportunity, America, I think across, they would fall in love with her. I don't believe that mainstream America is white.
Oh,
No,
that's why
not
we're seeing.
anymore.
That's
Not
why we're
anymore.
seeing what we're seeing. We talked about it at the top of the show. That whole ridiculous law about men, and also where they're focusing they're giving these grants and money, federal money to areas in which there's a high birth rate and a high marriage rate. We know what that's about, and there's no, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. So
I wish they well, they don't need to knock on my door, honey, because these eggs are dried. As a matter of fact, we'll put that on. I'm
anyway,
dry.
go back to typing, please.
She exits on that note.
There
So
she
that was
go.
our fabulous executive producer, Greer. For those
Oh my
who don't
gosh.
know who that was.
um,
That was comedy. That was funny. That was a great way to end that segment,
that's like,
Greer.
well, yes, and listen, something happened yesterday, which was we got to at least mention, for the first time, a major corporation chose to broadcast a significant health initiative exclusively through the Black Press of America. The American Heart Association partnered with the National Newspaper Publishers Association to present Changing the Future of Health for Black Communities, Public Health and Media Symposium. It was exclusively on the Black Press's YouTube channel as part of Black History Month. And the panel featured health professionals, including Dr. Regina Benjamin, who was the 18th U.S. Surgeon General and founder of the Bayou Clinic, Dr. Keith Churchwell, the president of the American Heart Association, Katrina McGee, who is the Heart Association's chief marketing officer. And of course, there was Cherie Nicole, who co-hosts at Reach Media, and our own Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis Jr., the president and CEO of the NNPA, and our senior White House correspondent and Washington bureau chief, April Ryan. Very, very important stuff for Black folks, heart health. And they really, really did a fabulous job. You can read about it on blackpressusa.com and other Black-owned newspapers that you subscribe to. But this is just to give you an example of what some of the numbers in 2022 alone. Almost 65,000 Black men and 59,000 Black women died from cardiovascular disease. They gave so much information and also talked about, which is so important, solutions. Because oftentimes we hear about issues. And I know, like Denise Rolock Barnes, for instance, of the Washington Informer, one of her biggest things is solutions journalism. And they certainly gave some serious solutions. Even April talked about some personal things that she's doing and plans to do. So it was a lot of good stuff, Niel.
It sounds like it. And what do they say? Health is wealth, knowledge is power. So
Alice is power.
it's good. That's one of the things that I love so much about the being a part of the Black press. It's like it's news and advocacy. So, the Black press has such a lineage and history of not just reporting the news, but being advocates and participating in the change that we want to see in our community. And I just think that's a prime example of what the Black press is all about. It's news, views, and advocacy.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can, it's there, folks. If you missed it, you can go back and watch it anytime at the Black Press USA's YouTube page and on blackpressusa.com. You can watch it from there as well. Neil, I know you got a kick out of, or at least you got some commentary out of Elon Musk's 4-year-old son. What happened there?
All I can tell you is I'm trying to figure out, did the little 4-year-old boy hear a conversation and is repeating what he heard? Or if his daddy told him to tell Trump to shut his mouth. Now, the little boy was in the Oval Office with his gold chain on and was talking smack to Donald Trump. Shut your mouth. You're not the president. I mean, either his daddy told him to say it or he's been in rooms where his daddy has been saying it. Either way, it's a problem. It's a problem. I mean, what is going on? And the White House is on fire, y'all. And we sit
That's
here
them
on
too. Like Austin said, he cussed out the president.
yeah. I
Ugh.
mean, he told him to shut his mouth because his daddy was talking. And he had on the little gold chain. I was like, what is going on? And Donald Trump is just sitting there looking like Elmer Fudd, just sitting there looking crazy.
At- so at what point you got two crazy and strong personalities in Trump and Musk, and Trump has, you know, he hated and he hates when those memes that have been circulating about him and Elon, and he has posted about them. He has just went into a rage about them. You guys got to stop this. Whoever's doing this got to stop. These memes, and calling Elon the president or co-president. Um, and he has in one post that Trump made a few weeks ago, he explicitly told Elon to stay in your lane. I am the president. So at what point does this really implode after Elon gets all the money he can out of the federal government?
Pretty much. I saw last night on CNN that Musk's Doge website, it directs you to X.
See,
So you
and
go to the
nobody, and they're
website and
letting
it
this
takes you to
happen.
X. It takes you to X, and he's making money from advertisers on X. So I mean, there's just such a conflict in what's going on at the White House. And there was a time. Sometimes I wish we can go back to just 3 TV channels and know because it's too much. It's too much
It
information,
is.
and nobody's paying attention to the White House and what's going on. There's so many things, but we're not paying attention.
That's the idea, right? That
Right.
is the idea
Right.
behind all this, and that is part of why he made it into office, because nobody was really paying attention.
Nobody's minding the store. We're not paying attention to what's happening, and we're going to look up in about a year and we're going to say, well, what happened?
Mm.
We tried to tell you. We tried to let it be known. We're trying to
We
let
tried
it
to
be known.
There you go.
Tell a friend to watch Let It Be Known, because we're gonna let it be known, but we also need to participate in the resistance, because it's time to resist, folks. It's time to resist.
Look at that. It went right. She's showing how it says X. It went to X.
It directs you to X. He should not be able to do that. That is a conflict of interest.
Well, again, it goes back. I've been saying it all year, last year plus, when they say he can't, what Trump can't do. Stop saying what he can't do, because he's going to do it anyway.
I have
He's
to.
going to do it.
You're in. So I'm on the West Coast, if you don't know, and Stacy's on the East Coast. I want to know, Stacy, did anybody find out what happened at the Black History program at the White House on Wednesday? I googled it. I
Absolutely
can't find
nothing,
anything. What
because nothing
happened?
happened. That's why I think Armstrong Williams went there, and who knows? Maybe they just had tea. I we would not listen. I know it's look, it's our job, it's the media's job, and certainly when it comes to so-called Black history stuff or Black news, what we are generally the ones. Certainly, we are the ones you can trust. And but it was one of those that even April was like, I'm not going to that mess. Because to
Right.
hear that, how do you go to that when they are taking and trying to destroy any evidence of Black history, when they are telling you that you don't matter, that DE&I is dead, and they're blaming every plane crash on Black folks. They are, everything is Black people's fault, and the oppression. How do you go? It's like, again, that is the slavery thing, right? Where the master forced you to come to his little party outside, behind the shed. You just not gonna do it,
Well, I want to know
willingly.
who was in that white. Who went? Do we know?
Yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question. It's a good question.
I can't
Listen,
find a
we
story about it.
right, and apparently the black press wasn't the only ones that were not interested. And I spoke to Dr. Chavis, and he was like, "Nah, don't bother." And so look, when the boss says don't bother, you don't bother.
Right.
He told me because I was gonna go to the press club for this event yesterday, but of course they put it on Zoom only because of the weather. The American Heart Association and the NMPA's event. So
Mhm.
we covered it from Zoom, and of course we have direct access to Doc in April, so it was very easy to do. But this idea of going to a White House party or White House celebration of this White House. It's ironic because last fall, the Biden Harris White House held a celebration of Black excellence. And it was such a great event. We were there, and
Yeah. My
we
first
had a
White
good
House
time.
experience. It was, and as we were on that White House line, we were jokingly saying this may be the last time.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's
exactly.
gonna be a while. It's gonna be a while.
Austin said Byron Donalds, Tim Scott, and Clarence Thomas and Candace Owens were there at the White House for the Black History event, and they served tea and cleaned up afterwards. So,
I almost believed you. I was like, okay, we got some intel.
so there you have it.
But I'm sure
So
they were there. I'm sure they were there though.
oh, without question, come on, come on, come on. Um, so I know you wanted to talk about this, and we mentioned it at the top of the show. Oh, before we get to that, I'm talking about Kanye, but I have to ask you because Trixie keeps asking, where do you get your glasses from?
I hate to say it, but Amazon. They're reading glasses, 3, 4 in the pack.
She's a traitor.
Well, nobody has said to boycott Amazon. Nobody's put that out
Right.
there
Those
yet.
those orders haven't come down yet. Yep. That's right. That's right. So you're in the clear.
Amazon.
Amazon. Is there a particular seller on
I think
Amazon?
these are no, but I think these are the Oprah style. And they
Oprah
come like
style.
3, 5 in the pack.
Should I start
And
wearing
I
my
and I
glasses
I
too?
break I break and lose reading glasses so much that I'm trying to build up to buy a pair. But I lose them, I break them. So I'm like, now if this was an expensive pair of glasses, I would be so angry. So I'm trying to train myself because my eyes are getting bad and I need them more and more. So yeah,
Okay.
Amazon.
Yeah, those glasses, man, they have been stealing the show all week long. I love them. They are nice.
I might need to go buy some more frames, some more colors.
There
Okay.
you
I'm
go.
inspired. Thank you,
Th-
Drea.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. So she says she orders a lot from what's that? Voglam? You've heard of that, Neo?
No, I
Voglam?
haven't. Is it black owned?
See, that is the question, folks, that we got to get used to.
Did like
Is it
start
black owned?
asking because I would love to support a black company
Okay.
and I'm gonna
So
look at Blow Glam. I'll check it out. Thank you,
Voglam.
Drea.
There you go. Okay, so Kanye West is officially canceled.
Um, he's getting close, or he's getting close to being committed, like Wendy Williams. Now, Wendy Williams is on her way out, and he might take her place.
Well,
Um,
so yeah, Wendy is.
she
We'll get
might
to
be
Wendy
on
in a
her way
moment, but go
out,
ahead.
and she
Yeah,
go slide in there.
yeah, we'll get to Wendy in a moment, but Kanye, to say that he's gone too far is an understatement.
Yeah, so
So
this time around, he got dropped from X. Elon Musk, of all people, suspended him from X. He lost his talent agency representation. And then
mhm,
Shopify kicked him off in all his products that he was selling because he had a T-shirt with a swastika. And now it's being reported that him and his wife Bianca are headed to divorce. So
yeah,
the shoes just keep dropping for him.
yeah, a couple years ago, we remember him getting semi canceled, and him talking about they can't touch him because he's a billionaire. And the next day, he lost like $1 billion because they took his money from him. They took these products and everything else from him. And now they are making commercials about canceling him. So he has done it this time. It seems he's done it this time.
But a
And
couple of celebrities that were in those commercials, they're complaining because those are AI generated commercials. They're not real.
mhm.
And although they might not agree with what he said, they were offended that they were placed in that AI commercial because it wasn't true. They didn't put on those cancel ye shirts, which is a
um,
whole nother problem.
yeah, and Trixie again. I agree here. Again, I know she's not defending Kanye. I am certainly not defending Kanye, but she says they only cancel him when he speaks uh on on Jewish people, but when he speaks on blacks and slavery, nobody says a word. Nobody cancels him. And he's made those comments. Slavery was a choice, and he doubled down on them recently. No one really got upset. It wasn't until he started in on Jewish people and he went in this full Nazi stuff and whatever that he was done. We have no allies.
Right.
Nobody. I've said it. I don't have a problem with it. I think what the ADL, the Anti Defamation League, does it's something to behold, because
Mhm.
when folks, and I say it's something to behold because when folks get into their anti-Semitic bag, the ADL immediately moves to shut them down.
But they didn't do it
That's
to
what
Elon Musk. They
they
didn't
didn't do
do
it
it to
to
him.
Elon Musk, right? They didn't do it to Elon Musk, and that's another story. And you're absolutely right, which is interesting. But what I'm saying is, this is what the NAACP used to do. This is what um, black folks need to do.
Mhm.
We have to say enough is enough. We have to say, wait a minute, we're not tolerating that. And this is what we're gonna do. See, they speak. That's why February 28th again for many is important, right? Because we got to stop talking about it and be about it,
Right.
and that's been our problem. We've not been unified enough,
Mhm.
and I think now we hear it, we talk about it. I know the black press is trying to really close ranks, which was something that was needed for a long time. They say better late than never. And so there's going to be another huge meeting today of black publishers, and Dr. Chavis is going to lead that meeting again with members of the executive board of the NNPA. But these are things that you got to do. Playtime is over, as Eddie Murphy said some long time ago. Playtime's over. And if you can't get serious now, then you need to step aside. You got to step out of the way.
Right. And we need to coalition build. You know what I mean? Like it's just too many separate islands. You got this person over here doing this, you got this person over here doing this. And then it's like the people that you want to participate, they're only going to choose one, maybe two. So, how can we maximize our impact if everybody wants to do their own thing? I mean, and that's really the question. How do we come together? Which goes back to that meeting, as an example in the church basement. We need to come together. We need leadership to come together and to lead us.
Mhm.
People need to be led. Moses led the children out of Israel. you know, the civil rights leaders led the people to the March on Washington. We have to be unified in order to make change. We fell in line with Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying? We fell in line. And so we're at a point where that needs to happen again. It's just like, who's going to lead?
You said, you talked about Moses, and as they left Egypt, they sang songs, they sang praises to God, right? When the civil rights folks marched, they sang, right? And we also had around that time, you had like James Brown saying, "I'm black and I'm proud."
Hmm.
Um, we saw Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl. So it seems the ingredients are there.
They are. They are.
It
That's a
just
good
has to
point.
happen.
Okay, Stacy, come through. Okay.
Listen, I got one a month in me. That's it. Don't expect anything like this tomorrow or next week, okay?
Mm, yeah.
But you
It's
know
so
what?
funny you brought up Kendrick, but we keep having these conversations, and I keep seeing them on social media. I see a lot of people saying, "Well, I wanted to be entertained." Now is not the time to shuck and jive, folks. you know, he was trying to tell us something. He was trying to show, and he was speaking to the president. He knew the president was gonna be there. He had
Yeah,
a message.
yeah, yeah. Bison for Life says there's a large contingent online who want to sit this out. I'm in the DMV, he says, or he or she says, I don't want to assume. I'm in the DMV and the layoffs are devastating to black workers, especially. And Mike V kind of goes along with that. He says that we're talking about a generation of folks who chose the couch
Mm.
in November. So he says, I'm not so sure you can motivate folks who won't even get up to vote, he says. But going back to that included, but going back to Bison for Life, the layoffs. I think you made a great point on these federal layoffs and these not just the layoffs, but the order the folks back into the office about parking spots. What was that again?
So apparently 17, so Donald Trump with his mandate to come back to work or else went into effect this week. And so you had 17,000 people in the DMV area having to return to work if they wanted to keep their job. But Doge, the efficiency department of the government led by Elon Musk and Donald Trump efficiency, 17,000 people, only 4,000 plus parking spaces. Well,
Mm.
where's the efficiency in that? And where, just tell me where. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, on TikTok, there are my heart goes out to all the federal workers, and we really need to be concerned about them because they have anxiety. You know what I mean? They don't know if they're going to
Mm-hmm.
keep their job. And they're being their games being played within the federal offices right now, with no places to sit for them to work. It's just pure mayhem, and this is people's livelihoods that we're talking about. And you have somebody like a Donald Trump and an Elon Musk saying, "Oh, we need to trim the fat. It's too many people," and so this is people's survival. And we have a homeless crisis in this nation. If these people don't have jobs, where do they go? There's not going to be any jobs for them. And so hearts go out, and let's think about our federal workers because they are, in a crisis right now, and they don't know if they're going to have a job. If they don't go to work, they're going to get laid off. If they go to work, they still might get laid off. And this is their livelihood, how they take care of themselves and their families. And so we really should consider the big picture. We've been laughing all morning, and having a good time. It's Friday, but some people are not having a good Friday. And I'm talking about the federal workers.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yep,
and, and that should
absolutely.
not be a partisan thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to kiss the ring to keep your job. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as the federal work, Greer is saying that's how the black middle class was built in DC. Um, and of course, they want to take over DC now, and they probably will take over DC. And TPMD says, can we collectively say no to Stephen A? Absolutely, absolutely. What a waste. He's my waste today. He's my waste of a human being today.
Now,
Stephen
why?
A.
Why?
Smith.
Why? What is it about Stephen A. we don't like? Um,
And so, where do I start? We don't have enough time. My
what's the
gosh,
problem?
pompous, arrogant, wanted to be the smartest person in the room, but he's far from it. He is anti-black. I mean, I can go on. He's certainly anti-black women.
Wait,
And then
so is
his
that a
later.
thing? I have a question. Is that a thing? Black people can be anti-black?
Oh, absolutely. Look at Clarence
Okay.
Thomas. Look at Byron Donalds. Oh, absolutely.
But if you were to tell them that, they would say, no, not me.
Of course, they would say
Say,
that.
I'm not
Of course,
anti-black.
yeah, because they have a created form of mental illness. That
Mm,
self-hate stuff. That is a created for you create that for yourself. And he goes wherever, right. Stephen A goes wherever the wind blows. So he is not he's not anybody could be a leader. He's not anybody you could ever trust.
okay.
Um, he spent, as Orange says, yep, 2 years trying to destroy Kyrie Irving. Yeah, and yes, he is a self-preservationist. Um, he will not fall on the sword, as Claudette Perry was talking about earlier. He for anybody, he wouldn't fall on the sword for his wife, mother, sister, brother, anybody. You kidding me?
Well, I know
That
he
dude,
did flip. He did flip. He said he wished he wouldn't have voted for Kamala when
yeah. I mean, it's such an
when Donald
asinine
Trump won.
statement. Yeah, I mean, listen, this guy, I I would not want to be in the same room as him. I just wouldn't want to breathe the
So we
same
can't get
air
him
as
on the
that
show.
guy.
We should try to get him on the show
Oh
and
my
ask him
gosh.
why. Ask him why.
We could,
Why do
if
you
you want to
like
do
it?
that, I'm all for it, but him and I will clash for sure.
I love it. We need a viral moment. Let's go.
We need a viral moment. Okay, before we go, we said we would talk about Wendy. Wendy is so apparently this coming Wednesday, there's going to be a hearing, and that hearing could determine if she gets to get out of this conservatorship, gets her freedom. She had a conversation with TMZ, very lucid conversation. Now, when Harvey Levin says things, you gotta, if he tells you it's raining and somebody comes in with an umbrella and they're soaking wet, you still got to check if it's raining. You t- but, 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 he's not the only one, as we know, um, who has talked about Charlemagne has talked about it, and who else? There was someone else who talked about how lucid and how great Wendy is, and he made a great point about this frontal temporal dementia, whatever. You don't get better, and she's gotten better. She says she was misdiagnosed, and now she's saying her son took her money. She had to cut him off from a bank. She says he's a good person, but not to her. He hasn't been good to her. But she is apparently on the verge of getting her freedom. Nia, what do you think of that?
I think it's good. Free Wendy. Free her. I know when the documentary series came on about her, she did have a drinking problem, right? They said that she'd have bottles in the bed or whatever. So maybe she just had a drinking problem. She's gotten herself together. But why should, if she feels like she's in a state to where she wants to be free, and she does have family. We saw a couple months ago where she went to, I think it was her son's graduation or a family member's graduation. She was in Florida. She looked great. She was in her right mind. She appeared on the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne. She was in her right mind. She said a couple of things, but everybody says something off the cuff sometimes. But I say give her a second chance. She deserves it. And
Yeah.
we would love for Wendy to come back and give us, her tea at least once a week.
Folks, even folks who didn't or said they didn't like her, they you hear so many folks say that they miss her and miss that tea. So she
Yeah,
is
I mean, Diddy, we want to hear what she got to say about Diddy. We want to hear what she has to say about Kanye. We want to hear what she has to say about Rihanna and ASAP Rocky. We want to hear it all. We want to hear it.
And the question is, yeah, is she still getting paid from her show? Because we don't see any
I'm not sure.
syndicated. Yeah, I don't see anything in syndication, which is interesting because that is one show that you would think would have a home in syndication.
Right.
So that is really interesting. Sherry took over the show, right?
They're
But
probably
but
afraid that those Fox is probably afraid that those numbers of Wendy's old episodes would do better than the shows that they have now in her place and others. So, you always have that to consider.
well, RNG believes that she does have a mental illness. He says her and Kanye fell off the same truck. Oh, goodness grief. Um, and
She's
true, Sherry wouldn't
better.
have a
She's
sh
chill. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, listen, I had the privilege of being on Wendy's show. She had me as a guest once, so it was a lot of fun. So,
Yeah,
um,
I feel like she also had a mental breakdown because of her husband, her ex-husband.
a lot of
That
people
was
say
just
that.
something she could not get over, or it took her a long time to heal. It broke her down.
Yeah. Yeah, and, folks tuned in expecting we were also expecting our guests, Mr. J. Anthony Brown, but,
Yeah, we'll get him
um,
back though.
well,
He's
yeah,
gonna come. Jay is gonna come. Just sometimes, we'll get him back though.
yeah, he's on CP time, not on our
Mhm.
time. But, it'll be interesting to have him. He is a friend of the black press, and we're not hating on him. Something obviously, maybe the alarm clock didn't go off or whatever, but, we will get him back, as, Neil said. And Neil, I mean, you have, a sort of, friendship with the guy, don't you?
Yeah, I actually used to run his comedy club here in LA, the J Spot.
Okay, see, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So he'll be he'll be with us as I'm dropping stuff around me. Um,
Mhm.
and before we go, we got to do. I know you got a couple of Black History moments.
Oh, yes, it's Black History Month, and since Donald Trump is trying to get rid of it, we're gonna keep Black history alive every day. We're
Keep
not
hope
going
alive.
nowhere, Donald Trump.
Take that.
But today in Black history, Morehouse College was founded, okay, but under a
How
different
about
name and
that?
location. Um, Also on this day, for all of our church folks, in 1760, African American Bishop Richard Allen was born in Philadelphia. And if you don't know, he is the founder of the AME Church. So,
Okay.
African Methodist Episcopal Church, all those AMEs out there. Uh, Richard Allen, it's his birthday, so we uplift him in the Black church. And then today, you want to take the last one, Stacy?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead because I want. Well,
Oh,
what I would.
today.
No, I'm gonna let you take it because I wanted to mention. You mentioned Morehouse. I wanted to mention that Greer's oldest son is a Morehouse grad.
Hey now, okay, we have some relations there. And then today for birthdays, we're gonna take it back to Frederick Douglass. Today, Frederick Douglass was born,
Somebody
and we
mentioned
know
him
that he was an
yesterday.
abolitionist writer who fought for freedom of Black Americans. And so we were talking about who is our leader today. We looking for them, but back in the day, we had Frederick Douglass.
Oh, I see. RG says we missed the big one yesterday when we were talking about Black history. The Negro Leagues was founded, he says, on February 13th. So that is a big one. Wow. How about that? Isn't that something? And Frederick Douglass was a Black press publisher. David Youngblood says, Greer, you are too young to have a son graduated out of college. How would you know? She doesn't show her face, David. Oh, well, David has seen her in person. She doesn't show her face. She comes on talking about her wig and all that other stuff, but you know, I don't know, Neo. I don't know how much longer we can tolerate that.
Yeah, next time, Greer, you're gonna have to cut on the camera so folks can see you.
There you go. lay down the law here, Neil. You know, you didn't join here this without understanding the power that you wield.
Right. But on a serious note, as we close out, I just want to thank you and Greer for welcoming me. I had a fabulous first week. I'm really excited to take this journey with you all as we empower, inform, and advocate for our Black community. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, well, that journey is a mission not only of sight and sound, but of mind. So it is, let it be known, folks. And we appreciate you. Have a great and she's wait a minute. I've never heard anybody say this before. I'm sorry to interrupt our close, but Greer says Frederick Douglass was fine. Neil,
I can dig it. I'd go on a date.
you going to date with him?
I will.
Okay.
Like Jill
Wow.
Scott. I do a Jill Scott. Let's take a long walk.
Everybody have a safe and happy weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Thanks for joining. Let it be known.